If this thing's working. Nope. Doesn't seem to be working. Is this thing working yet?
All right, let's make sure that we're up and running here.
Let's make sure this is working. It's not that hard.
Not pushing violence, or that I am pushing violence, or...
Is this thing going? Okay, looks like we're live now. Just wanted to say, I've been getting a lot of comments encouraging violence and stuff, and I'm going to have to say, I'm noticing a lot of parallels now with what I saw when I was first waking up, not to the Jewish problem, but to what was happening to whites in general. In 2009, 8, 9, and 10, I became active talking about the issues facing whites, and I began talking about white genocide. And a bunch of JIDF trolls, Pamela Geller types, and her army of online Israeli bots all started bombarding me with, you need to go to war with Islam, you need to be, the Knights Templar, etc., etc. And you got to remember, Anders Breivik was a Pamela Geller fan. He used to post regularly on Pam Geller's blog. She's Atlas Shrugged, or whatever she calls her blog, but it's pretty much just, anti-Arab, anti-Palestinian. There's a war between Christians and Muslims, and think about who benefits if Christians and Muslims go to war. Think about who Israel's regional competitors are. They're Muslim countries, and of course, the Jews have been pumping European countries full of migrants, a lot of which are Muslims. You have to remember they're only there because the Jews destroyed their countries and then gave them all of our tax money to come here. So if you look through some of these comments here that I've been getting, it's all saying, okay, you need to post for race war and you need to post for violence. And, this is stupid. And I don't think anyone should take these anonymous people seriously when they say the only way out of this is violence. I go here so I can see the live stream chat and silence it. But what I'm saying is this doesn't seem right to me. Something is fishy here.
Countries. And
is that muted?
Of course, the Jews.
Okay. We're muted. Good. We're muted. So I can press play again. And where's the live chat? So I'm going to look at your live chat here and see what's going on. So I also wanted to say that any white guy that tries to sound reasonable is accused of cucking. Any white guy that's not calling for violence or not saying that the system is too corrupt to be interacted with, or saying that, we need to peacefully resolve this, or there's a peaceful solution. They're being called a cuck. They're being called pro-Arab. They're being told they're soft. And then all of these other people are saying, war is inevitable. This is going to have to come to race war, etc., etc. Think about what they get. These ruling elites, these Jews, what they get out of that. They get to portray anyone who's white, who's challenging their power, as violent and wanting a war and supporting terrorism. Think about that. They can peacefully then impose gun confiscations. They can then peacefully, using the existing structure in place, arrest anyone that criticizes their power. And then it won't matter that I'm not advocating violence. It'll just matter that they see me as a threat to them by talking about their power. So beware these anonymous people encouraging you to do violence, calling for violence. You'll notice my live chat is full of people calling for violence and stuff. So let's take a look here. Okay, yeah, most of these people are shills. So Splitter Trace asks, with all due respect, Patrick, how do you reconcile the histories Muslims have working with the Jews in opposition to Christians? And I'm going to have to say, the Jews have opened the gates to anyone that wanted to hurt Europeans, and most Muslims don't want to hurt Europeans. You have to remember, Israel's been supporting ISIS and stuff because they slaughter Christians. They get people to do their dirty work for them. So when you got to look at what Benjamin Netanyahu's own son is posting. little Netanyahu, that little bastard spawn of Bibi Netanyahu, who's on social media telling all the whites and the Europeans and the Christians to go to war with Islam, saying, remember Constantinople, hey Erdogan, remember, Istanbul is really Constantinople. So if the Netanyahus are pushing for war between Christians and Muslims, who else do you have to hear it from? That's exactly what you don't do. Now, is it good that white people are being displaced in all of their own countries? No. But who's pushing it? Who is responsible? It's the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society. It's the 7,200 Jewish organizations in this country that push for open borders. It's the Jews that co-opt conservative movements and make them into Koch brothers style open borders. So, Jews have worked with our elites too to oppress the common man. The Magna Carta was made because some of the Normans in control of England were working with the Jews to tax farm the hell out of the commoners, and they couldn't take it anymore, so they made the king sign the Magna Carta, which led to the Jews' expulsion. So the Jews will work with any elite if they can work their way into a position of being a middleman and extracting rent. So, Splitter Tree, what I'm saying is that they'll even use our own Shabbos Goyim against us. They'll work their way into anyone. They get into all sides. So, it's not a real question what you're asking. Yeah, Federal Reserve Brown says our problem is what Jews are doing is violence in a stealth way. Yes. According to the United Nations definition of genocide, what's happening to whites is genocide. No ifs, ands, or buts. It meets like every single one of them. What is it, like 12 or 16 points of genocide? Almost every single one of them applies to whites. What's happening to us? Intentional displacement, bringing in replacements, encouraging them not to breed. So, I mean, yeah. If everything's being framed in a way where the only way whites can ever have civil rights again is by going to war against Muslims, I mean, that sounds like another invasion of Iraq to me. What they want is to go in fighting each other. And, Islam isn't the religion for me. But if Muslims want to have a Muslim country, if Iraq wants to be Muslim, if Iran wants to be Muslim, whatever, I don't care. So someone says, wait till Yang gets elected. Yang's going to take all your guns. Yeah, Ian Murphy, I would gladly have a conversation with Mel Gibson, yeah. Yeah, Soapmaker says Muslim invasion is simply a symptom of Jewish disease. And you got to remember, they'll take anyone who isn't white and take white people's tax money and then divert it all to the replacements. Muslims just happen to be the people near Europe that the Jews can flood into Europe. And if you were Muslim and you were living in poverty and the Jews offered you, 50,000 pounds a year just to have 6 kids in Britain, you'd do it too. People respond to economic incentive. I agree. RK, not just Muslims, but also the Arabs are. I would say more of the Arab is more of a threat to Israel than Islam itself. I mean, there are Christian and Muslim Palestinians and Syrians and Lebanese and Syrians, Christian and Muslim, that would gladly liberate Palestinians, both Christian and Muslim, from Jewish tyranny. I mean, you have to remember, the only real colonial state that exists today is Israel. And the only real supremacist state that exists that's colonial is Israel. But this Yang crap, I mean, the Yang meme is funny, but it's not a real solution. He's going to take your guns and open the borders. Well, they're already open. Anyhow, this is just what I'm saying. But the Jews want lone wolf terrorist attacks, and they want them done by white people. And if they can't get them, they'll false flag them. And we know that Jews work with useful idiots, whether they're from Islam or whether they're white, and they get them to do terrorism so that they can get crazy laws passed. Yeah. Yeah, Joe Edick just said, invading and breaking up Muslim land causes migration. And what was the point of that? So Israel can expand and be dominant over its neighbors and annex all their land. Yeah. it's two birds, one stone. If they get Muslims and Christians killing each other, that gets the Muslims focused on us, and it gets us focused on the Muslims instead of the Jews that are bringing in our replacements. Ultimately, I want the Arabs to prosper. I want them to still have their ancestral homelands. I want them to be happy. I want Syria to prosper. I want Iraq to prosper. I wish the best for the Muslims and the Christians of Iraq that were peacefully coexisting before the Jews used us as a battering ram to break their country and install ISIS. Spell check. You're going to have to just... I'm going to respond to my emails. I'm way behind. I'm networking with a bunch of people trying to get my campaign going. By the way, send me an email if you've sent me a campaign contribution, because I haven't gotten any yet, and I was getting dozens of campaign contributions a week for my Senate race. And I set up a second mailbox and had people send some checks to there, and it's not a publicly listed one. All of those checks arrived. But my P.O. Box in Albany, I haven't received any donations there, and that's the publicly listed donation address. So, that's something's going on there. Maybe there's just a huge batch of them waiting to be processed in Albany. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get going here. Okay. Oh, is that the real Zyklon B. Peterson? Yeah, all according to the unknown plan and older plans. Yes, exactly. And look at this George Dublin guy. This is obviously a Jew. This guy's probably a Jew. Yeah, okay, yeah, I have a spell check. I saw that email. I'll respond to that in the next few days. I've just been slammed. I don't really trust anyone to delegate in my server or anywhere because I don't know who any of these people are. So, once I get enough donations, I'm going to hire someone that has an NDA that's under contract. That way, if my assistant does something, I can hold them liable if they do something illegal. Whereas, right now I'm working with Anons, My entire Senate campaign, I didn't know any of their names. They were all Anons. It's crazy. The nature of my political campaigns have just been insane. The Jews have made the stuff I talk about. It's so necessary to talk about this stuff, but it's so taboo, no one will work with me under their real name. That whole thing I did, my whole election against that dual citizen Feinstein, was all anonymous people from friggin' 4chan. Yeah, Federal Reserve Brown says, yes, the Kalergi plan, indeed. Serge B is probably a Jew. Oh, have Ryan Dawson call him, or I'll just call him. I've got his contact. Congenial Wisdom, send an email to pat@littlerevolution.us. But do you guys get what I'm saying about the Jews wanting Christians and Muslims to fight? I mean, what was happening when the Jews tricked us into invading Iraq based off from falsified Israeli intelligence? I mean, that was getting Christians and Muslims to fight. And that also destabilized the country, and that's where all the migrants to Europe came from. I mean, I kind of feel bad for the migrants that aren't just there for the money, the ones that actually were fleeing ISIS. There are some legitimate refugees. I mean, but if we remove the Jews from power in our government, then we can give them back their countries in the Middle East. I'm sure a lot of these people would love to have, stayed in their ancestral homeland and had a good life without Jew mercenary armies rampaging about and funding ISIS. Bad egg. That's actually, I had one guy send me a check, and I knew about the check when it was incoming, and I never received it, and he later issued me the check again. But what I'm saying is I've had my mail fucked with severely. Yes, I've had multiple felonies committed against me in my campaign. Yeah, I mean, Jews are in power. What am I going to do? I don't have the money to sue them. Oh. Greg Wallace, no, I don't wear armor. I don't carry a weapon. If they want to get me, they'll get me. Anyhow, I've got to get going, guys, but it's just my thought for the night was that look at all these calls for violence against to get the goyim fighting, and I really think that this is Jews trying to engineer Christians and Muslims fighting. Now, are there going to be problems resulting from the migrants in Europe? Yes. Do I advocate that the migrants that have gone to Europe go home after we've removed the Jews from power? Yes, but once they have a good country to go back to. Until we remove the Jews from power in the United States, we're going to continue to be used as mercenaries to rototill the Middle East, so there's no stability. They're just going to continuously churn up the Middle East so it's unstable, so they can get more migrants. And the legitimate migrants aren't going to want to go home until there's peace in the Middle East again. And the only way to have peace in the Middle East and stop the migrants is to get the Jews out of power here, get the Jews out of power in Europe, and put these Jew bankers in prison. Or worse, but, we got to have trials and stuff before all that. But, yeah, that's it, guys. I've got to go to bed, but it's just I was reviewing the comments on my videos when I was getting ready to pass out, and it's almost nothing but calls for violence and anti-Muslim stuff. And I mean, if you want to keep on doing what we were doing with invading Iraq and when the Jews were trying to get us to invade Syria, I mean, you're just doing the Jews' bidding. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Look at the shit that Benjamin Netanyahu's kid is posting, trying to encourage Europeans to retake Constantinople. I mean, first off, the Jews are the ones that opened the gates to Constantinople to the Ottomans when they were invading. This is well documented. Same thing in Iberia or Spain and Portugal. The Jews opened the gates to all the fortresses at night to the invading Moors. I mean, if the Moors are trying to invade and the Jews open the gates to them, I'm going to be mad at the Jews that I trusted. And I'm going to stop trusting Jews. And so long as the Jews are in power, there's no point in any other group conflict. And ultimately, I think there's going to be peace with the Muslim world if we can do a show of good faith to the Muslims that are still in their countries in the Middle East and say, we don't want to be used as mercenaries against your countries anymore. We want to be left alone here. We want to leave you guys alone over there. Let's do some trade. We'll trade you maybe some Ford or some GM cars for some oil. Let's do trade. But, so long as the Jews control our State Department, our Congress, so long as all the members of Congress and the Senate have to sign a pledge to Israel, we're going to keep on sending in troops and destroying those countries in the Middle East, and there will be more migrants. So there's no point to worrying about migration or any of that unless your top priority is removing Jews from power. The rest of it is all just for nothing, umsonst. So this is a little bit improv too in the middle of the night, but I mean, guys, if Benjamin Netanyahu's kid is posting, hey, Christians and Muslims fight, what do you think the damn Zionists want us doing? They want us fighting and focusing on each other so the Goyim kill each other, so that Israel can expand and so that they can stay in power here. And so that these lone wolf white things, I mean, I think they're probably real. Some people say that they're false flags, whatever. Regardless, false flag or not, they're going to be used as an excuse to continue demonizing white people and to eventually confiscate our firearms so that the Jews can kill us all. Just like they have in dozens of countries in the past with revolutions. Tune into the book I'm reading by Archibald Ramsey, The Nameless War. Look at Henry Ford's book. Look at Solzhenitsyn. Jews create chaos and then collapse the system so they can continue to rule in the chaos. If you don't see what's going on here, take a step back and look at the big picture like I am. The Jews want violence. Don't give it to them. All right. Have a good night, guys.